If you're pricing your services based on what you think they're worth, you're doing it wrong.
It's our job to guide and collaborate and help the prospect define how they measure or perceive value for the thing that we're offering, the problem that we're solving.
And by the end of this video, you'll see how to price with integrity and impact without selling your soul.
So let's talk about money for a moment.
Yeah.
Since we're there, okay?
Okay.
Because I had this earlier this week with a potential client, okay? We're in a courtship process. And you have some owners, and one owner is saying, hey, we've got to create packages and charge more. And the other one is saying, maybe, because what if they don't need the package and they only need this piece or this piece? Then why sell a package?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so how do you balance? So there are really two questions here. How do you balance in there understanding pricing in your sales process and also the morality? Because I think those are two things that people are fighting a lot, right? It's like, is what I'm selling worth what I'm selling it for? And is it what they actually need?
Yeah. Great questions. I love them. And they are two separate but related topics, right? So let's talk about the price first, because I think that's where so many people get hung up, is price. And you said, how do I know I'm selling it for what it's worth? Worth to who? Right? Because it's not our job to define the value, let's say, of the transformation or the impact of the thing we do. It's our prospect's job to assign a value. It's our job to collaborate. It's our job to guide and collaborate and help the prospect define how they measure or perceive value for the thing that we're offering, the problem that we're solving. And oftentimes they can't do that on their own. So it's not our job to say it's worth 10 grand, right? If I'm working with a client and I'm helping them generate a net $1 million of increase in revenue in a 12-month period, $1 million. And let's assume that's profitable and it aligns with all their goals and all that fun stuff. And I charge 10 grand to do that. I've just devalued my services. I've devalued the $1 million. If anything else, their expectation is to pay far more for that big bump in revenue.
Yeah.
So you have to understand the impact of that $1 million on the business. And that's part of the sales process. So back to the very first point here is like, why do we push back when we think we have to sell, when we're non-selling professionals? Is because we feel like we have to convince somebody to do something, right? Push them, give them a little bit of friction. And the truth is, it's just a series of conversations to come to a mutual agreement. That's all it is. But we have to be intentional about guiding that process. And part of the process is establishing current situation and the impacts of that situation and the impacts of doing nothing if you decide they don't want to change. We have to do that. We have to help them understand that. And then the future state, right? What are the outcomes they're expecting? What are the positive business impacts of that? That's all they care about. Eliminating the pain, getting to the gain. And we all know that pain is a far more powerful motivator than gain.
Yes.
The gap, the how, that's what we do, but we don't talk about that.
No.
They don't care about the how. They care about those 2 points in time. And our job is to guide them through that process. So that's the pricing piece.
Yeah.
The packaging, you and I are both fans of understanding our buyer, defining our ideal client profile, understanding the buyer's journey. And so the best way to understand what they need and how we assemble those services is to talk to the people that are already buying our stuff. The people that are interested in buying our stuff. We don't ever create in a vacuum.
That's right.
Never do it.